I think really huge disappointment. I thought our preparation was brilliant. We came into the first test really encouraged, really upbeat. We knew that we were evenly matched with Pakistan in terms of ages and games played, but to go away 1-0 and particularly to play like we played in this test match after having Pakistan on the ropes in the first session, was very disappointing. Yeah, it's a really good, and today's actually a good day to talk about it. If you look on this round of Sheffield Shield cricket, I know a number of the states have also had some big batting collapses as well. So, and I've been in the state system watching for a long time, and I've watched this, and I think what I'm really intrigued about is that you're not allowed to use the word technique anymore, but actually technique. I remember playing, this is not for your camera, but Lindsay Stevens, the golfer. I remember having dinner with him, and everyone says it's all mental, it's all about the mental side of the game, and I thought that's interesting. Yeah, that's what everyone says. But Lindsay Stevens, the golfer, told me at a dinner one night, I'd rather have a guy with a good technique who's a bit softer mentally than a guy who's really mentally tough with a really bad technique. This is in golf. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, if you've got a good technique, you hit most balls down the middle of the fairway, and over time you'll develop some confidence, and you can learn concentration, and that's how you get mental toughness. If you've got a bad technique and you're hitting the ball behind the trees or in the rough, well, it doesn't matter how mentally tough you are, eventually you're not going to be able to be hitting it into the hole that often. And I think it's the same with cricket. I mean, I was brought up in Australian cricket where, we did a lot of bowling machine work, and we did a lot of talk on technique, and technique to me is about footwork patterns and playing forward when it's full and playing back when it's back. So they're just really basics of the game, particularly in footwork patterns. And you talk about the great Australian players, they moved their feet like boxers, or every one of them, they had footwork patterns. And then from there you have the skill of run scoring ability. So and it's a really important thing. So the technique's really important, and I think now there's a lot of talk because of white ball cricket that you have wide stances and you just stand and deliver. Well, that's okay, but even in T20 cricket or one-day cricket, and most certainly first class cricket or test cricket, when the ball starts moving around, if you don't move your feet, then you're going to come unstuck. And I think that's something that we all have to, in Australian cricket, we have to work. There wouldn't be a state coach out there who would be saying it's all rainbows and butterflies out there after this weekend's cricket, because of the collapses. So there's certainly some focus that we have to have. As we see this week, we've got to work out we've got a test match here or first class cricket, then we've got some T20s coming up, and then there's some one-dayers. So the schedule is what it is. But in terms of that, the great players are able to adapt, and most of them got a good batting technique and the skill of scoring runs. So we can't sugarcoat it any longer, I don't think. We've got to, if I'm a young batsman in Australia, it's a pretty exciting time. If you work really hard on your basic game and you learn how to make runs, then there'll be huge opportunities in the Australian cricket team. Yeah, it's been one of the challenges we had, because if you take Bancroft out, who was the opener, and all of a sudden all shuffles on it, then you take David Warner out, then you had Usman Khawaja batting at 3, and then you had Steve Smith. You take those 3, and we always knew this was going to be a challenge. You take 3 batters, two outstanding players, and a young guy like Bancroft who was just finding his feet. Of course we had to shuffle it. And then Matt Renshaw, we knew straight up, I've said it before, he didn't play because he hadn't played any cricket. So then, and Marnus had shown some signs in the Australian A and with his all-round stuff. So yeah, we were going to be challenged with that. And then of course Aussie, then we've got to shuffle them back up there. I mean, we've had our challenges. We've had challenges through suspension, challenges through injury. But again, if you're playing in the Australian, you've got to grab your opportunity, don't you? Sometimes you might have to bat out of your spot, but that's the business we're in. Yeah, we're in a much different stage of Australian cricket history, aren't we? Usually you guys have heard me say it before, it's usually harder to get out of the side than it is to get into the side. It used to be a beautiful thing. Well, it used to be, and if you were the hunter, it used to be a shocking thing when you were playing. If you're the hunted, it was like, well, that's sort of good, but you knew the hunters were coming at you all the time. So there was always pressure. And in this instance, I thought Finch played pretty well. He did really well, and he'll learn a lot from this series. I was really impressed with Finch. I thought Marnus played particularly well in this innings. He had a brain fade in the first innings. I'd never seen anything like it. 2 in 2 days, like, mate. I've seen some stuff on the cricket field. I've never seen that ever. Like, literally, and Marnus knows, so I'm not burning it. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life until I saw what happened yesterday. So I thought Marnus played well in the second, and his leg spin was a real revelation for us, wasn't it? I mean, I thought he bowled beautifully. And as a young leg spinner, there's huge upside to that, I think, in all forms. I thought obviously Aussie played really well, and he'll have his knee operated hopefully on sooner rather than later, so hopefully he'll be right for the first test match. The other guy, Travis Head, I thought Travis Head played well. I mean, he had a brilliant innings in the first test. He looked, what I like about Travis Head is his development. You know, he's working hard in his game. The way everyone used to say can't play spin, well, he's worked hard on that. I think he played a cut shot today. Usually he plays from, I'm getting a bit technical here, but we're talking batting technique, aren't we? Which I love. I love batting, I tell you, I love batting. That's what's killing me at the moment. But he usually plays his cut shot from leg stump. Today he played a beautiful cut shot where he's out and he covered the off stump. I mean, Sir Donald Bradman would have been happy with it. He got right across, played that late cut for 4. His feet, I like his development. And obviously Sean and Mitch haven't had their best series, but we also know they're good cricketers. They're really good young men, and they're good cricketers, so who have had a tough time. So yeah, it's going to be, there's certainly, as I said, there's opportunities for the guys in the team. There's also opportunities for guys who are good blokes and make a lot of runs.